Now back to high school sports talk on ESPN Radio 94.1, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Here's Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Welcome back to the show. No Coach Ed Young on this Saturday, July the 13th. He's either vacationing on assignment or on a vacation assignment. I guess you can do both of those. But Matt Hatfield, that's yours truly right here. We got Thomas Simmons and Rashard Anderson along for the ride as well on this 13th day of July. Hope you're enjoying your weekend and your summer. First hour of the show, we chatted with Steve Moninger, head football coach of the Norfolk Academy Bulldogs. If you missed that, it'll be up on a replay later this week on VirginiaPreps.com. Go check it out. It is your internet resource for high school sports throughout the state of Virginia. We'll have previews on all the teams across the state. Our top 10 rankings coming out soon. Our prospect rankings throughout the state coming out soon. A lot of football coaching changes all across the area and the state. In fact, Richmond's got 11. One of their coaches just stepped down at Huguenot, Jared Taylor. Danny Lewis will have a story up on that later on VirginiaPreps.com. And at this time here on ESPN Radio 94.1, High School Sports Talk, we are joined by a special guest. He is the new head football coach of the Kempsville Chiefs in Virginia Beach. Proud tradition there going back to the 80s under the Ralph Gahagan days, and they've fallen on some hard times lately with some winless seasons, but looking to turn them around is Daryl Cherry, year one at the helm of Kempsville, joining us now on ESPN Radio 94.1. Coach, good morning. Congrats on being the new head football coach at Kempsville. How's your summer going?
Good morning. How you doing? Summer's been going great.
Good to hear. Well, since you are new to the program and a new head football coach in the area, let's go through the mini biography of Daryl Cherry. Tell us about your high school days, your football playing days, how you got into coaching, and what led you to go to Kempsville to be the new head football coach.
Well, I started back in 1996. I graduated from Green Run High School, played all 4 years under Cadillac Harris. From there, I had an opportunity to go to Liberty University. Became a starter there, a scholarship earner over there. And after I got to Liberty University, I came back to Green Run High School, started work with under Bo Ludwig for a little bit to give back. And then I talked to Jim Prince, the former coach of Ocean Lake High School, where Coach Head was one of my former coach at high school that was over there. And they asked me to come over and help out the program over there. So I stayed at Ocean Lake for a while, until Green Run needed a need because they had a little losing streak too. So I wanted to get back and coach over there at Green Run High School. Wanted to give my alma mater opportunity to come back because, they had a losing spell too. They was like 0-52 or something like that before I ended up going over there. So I coached at Green Run under Coach Ray Gatlin when he was a first-year head coach. I worked with him and Glenwood Furby. We graduated, played football together at high school and at Liberty, so just wanted to give back, and I've been doing coaching ever since till I got an opportunity to be at Kempsville High School, where they gave me an opportunity to be the head coach.
Yeah, pretty neat there. And you mentioned the losing streaks. Yeah. Green Run had that stretch of 51 consecutive defeats from 2000 to 04. Currently, the streak is 56 for Kempsville, only 12 behind the state record of George Wythe of 68 from 2004 to 11. I know your plan is to end that streak right away in game one, which we'll get to in a bit. But you have some – yeah, exactly. It's funny how you mentioned some neat names there. Some, I guess, go back in the Wayback Machine. You mentioned Jim Prince and Mike Head, and you mentioned Glenwood Fairby, who you played with at Green Run. I want to touch on that in a second, but you mentioned Cadillac Harris, who's well respected in the area, his days at Green Run and Indian River. So I imagine you got to have for us some kind of neat Cadillac Harris story you can tell us about.
Well, I got a couple. I know one that I remember as a player with Cadillac. I know because that year I played with Pesco Burris and Lanier Washington and Ray Shoup and Lee Fay Charles, all those guys. We was very good at that time. And, of course, some days, when you're that good, you think, you're on top of the world. But I remember one day we wasn't practicing hard enough. So we was, doing our sprints and then we was missing our time. And I remember one day, we was having those moments. Instead of sprinting, he made us beer crawl the whole entire gasket. So that was one of the roughest days of my life, but I remember that well. But I knew what he was trying to do for us. Still trying to motivate us, and everything is earned. So we got to work hard. No matter how talented we were, we still had to work hard and still prove ourselves day to day. So that's one of my unique stories, but yet unforgettable.
Well, you probably didn't know about almost 25 years ago, those bear crawls might turn into you giving bear crawls to your players one day, huh?
Oh yes, sir. That's where I get most of my conditioning from. Is from those heydays. The bear calls still exist today. So yeah.
Before we get into the key players for the Chiefs this year on offense and defense, we're chatting with Daryl Cherry, the new head football coach of the Kempsville Chiefs here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. Take me back to those days at Green Run. I mean, you saw when you had Plaxico there and Glenwood Farabee and the team was riding high, making the playoffs, and then they went through the rough patch. Got it back going again under Sean Wilson a few years back when they had DeJour Simmons and Tavon Gatlin and some of that crew, and you've been coaching the beach at Green Run and Tallwood and some schools, if I'm not mistaken. But how do you get – it's easy for a guy to come in and say, we've got to change the culture and the attitude at Kempsville. How do you get them to not only hear that but believe your message and take this program that has been winning before and been in the playoffs before to get them where they're competing with some of the better teams in the beach?
One of the biggest challenges is get the guys to believe in themselves again. Being in the position that they were, you have seniors on this team that have not won a game their whole entire high school career. And so, that kind of pays a toll on some of these guys, as far as, mentally and physically. They don't think they are on the same level as these other guys that they're playing against day to day. So just to tap into that, getting these guys as much experience as possible, getting them out to these camps, getting them out there to like the passing leagues, and just seeing that, hey, what a little hard work and dedication, what that can do for you. So, that's one of the biggest things.
Sure. Now, I'm here. I can hear you, Coach. We got you. When you take over a school that hasn't won a game in almost 5-6 years, it's hard for people to know some of the names. But give us some players that we should keep an eye out for that we hopefully will know by the end of the season, beginning on the offensive side of the ball for you.
Well, I tell you, we're pretty young. Pretty young. One of the biggest things that I've been trying to tap into is the other sports that's actually going on for us. The basketball team has a lot of success here, and the track team and the wrestling team. So. One of the guys that stand out to me the most when I first got here is, of course, Javon Mims, which played quarterback for them last year, and he was their all-around guy. They graduated a lot of linemen last year, the upperclassmen guys, so we're going to miss those guys. So we're trying to fill that offensive line up with new faces and new guys from different sports. So, we're trying to work on those ends, trying to get those guys going. But that's one guy that you will be hearing offensively. That's going to do, big things for us because he did, last year with Kempsville.
Now, you're known for the defensive success you were as the coordinator for John Keppel at Tallwood and the Lions making the playoffs pretty much routinely the last few years in Class 6. You guys at Kempsville in Class 5. What should we expect offensively from you guys in terms of either the system or the scheme?
Well, I'll let you know that in August. Right now we're trying to figure out what guys, we have. Right now, we're looking at, we don't have a lot of big guys, but, we got enough guys that we actually had a chance to spread the ball around, try to play a little smash mouth football if we can. But, measuring our team up to the talent we got. So, it could be multiple things. So we'll figure that out in August when it comes, as far as offensively. Defensively, got guys that can fly around, probably see some of the same things we did over there at Tallwood. Try to mix it up a little bit with the talent we have over here.
Chat with Daryl Cherry. He's the new head football coach of the Kempsville Chiefs, our guest here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. You mentioned Javon Mims, who I know had a couple of big games. Even though Kempsville didn't get a win last year, he's played some quarterbacks, going to play some wide receiver. Should we expect him on the defensive side of the ball for you as well?
Oh, yes. Most times the guys are going to look to play both ways. He's going to make the type of guy that he'd be able to play offensive receiver, then go out and play in the secondary, whether safety or corner. Got to have those type of guys on the football field at all times to give the opportunity to win.
Your philosophy on, all right, we got some seniors here that have played before, but we might have a younger guy who's a freshman or sophomore who's as good, maybe better, that can really compete for that spot. Are you a guy that's going to lean towards the senior, or do you feel like, hey, a little mixture of both, give the young kid some time if he's ready to go? What's your philosophy and belief on that?
Well, right now, my philosophy is the best 11 on the football field at all times, whether it be an underclassman, whether it be a freshman, or to the senior. We're looking to play the best 11 on offense, best 11 on defense, and best 11 on special teams. So, as far as, I tell the kids, hey, we got to compete every day. And one week, the senior might be great. The next week, the freshman might be great. So, therefore, the best 11 at all times got to earn that spot to play on Friday night.
further along at this stage here in the middle of July on defense or offense in your eyes right now? Where are you guys further along at this moment?
Definitely defense. We win games based on our defense. So we put a lot of concentration on our defense this offseason, teaching a new scheme and philosophy that we're trying to do. Of course, offense, it'll come around. It always takes longer for the offense to get together and gel together and have that chemistry. But defense, all you got to do is be mean, physical, and fast. So that's been our focus, and we try to get those guys on that defense side of the ball to really commit to doing those things to stop opponents from scoring touchdowns.
Well, a formula that worked for you guys over at Tallwood and when you were the DC over there helping out at Green Run. Now, any names we should keep an eye out for, defensive line, linebackers, or secondary-wise for the Chiefs this coming year?
Right now, we had a couple of guys that was actually in the building that actually come out to play football. Didn't play football last year. Rayvon Gordon, be able to play secondary guy for us, and Chippy Owens, he'll be able to play secondary for us. We're trying to fill the roster up for the defensive line-wise and linemen up front. Got a couple of, promising young guys coming from middle school that's actually going to do well for us. Son Saunders, he's going to be an incoming freshman that, has a lot of experience going out to camps and things like that. He looks very promising at coming in from middle school. So those are a couple of guys, and, got some guys from the basketball team, that's going to be able to do some things for us. Miller Richardson, just coming out with some experience just to come out and play football. So, those guys, give an opportunity to show what they can do this upcoming season. So they're new to football, but, not new to playing sports.
Gotcha. Now tell us about some of the assistant coaches you have on your staff. Did you bring some guys over from Tallwood with you?
Yeah, I brought one coach from it, Joe Ripper. He has some experience. He coached with me at Green Run High School, where he first started coaching football. Then he went to Lansdowne High School in Tommy Reman, and then I brought him over there to Tallwood with me. So he's coming from Tallwood. He's going to be actually working with the defense D coordinator this year, helping me out. He's been working with defense with me when I was at Green Run and Tallwood, so that was an easy fix for me to help me out. Then I got a couple of good guys from Brandon Middle School. I actually got a majority of their coaches staff from Brandon Middle School. They come out having with Mark Bacon and Dominic Abbott and Shakur Majors. They came from, with that successful program at Brandon Middle School as far as they have opportunity to win the city championship and go to the playoffs as they spend over there at Brandon. So they're coming in with a lot of experience and the knowledge of the young guys that we're going to be playing against this upcoming season and years to come.
Chatting with Daryl Cherry, the new head football coach of the Kempsville Chiefs, our guest here on High School Sports Talk, brought to you by VirginiaPreps.com. It's ESPN Radio 94.1, and the Chiefs looking to snap that 56-game losing streak in the debut of Coach Cherry on August the 29th against Princess Anne. And before you get to that game, though, you got a couple of scrimmages. Are those already scheduled for you? Who you got on the docket there?
Right now, our first scrimmage, we're going to be playing against Churchland High School. That'll be a home scrimmage on the 16th. And then we're going to be scrimmaging Northview on that following week.
Okay, so there you have it, Class 4 Churchland and Class 5 Northview. Both, and that one's going to be on the road, the second one?
Yeah, the second's going to be a road at Northview, yes.
Gotcha. And the home opener August 29th against Princess Anne. It's funny, Coach, as you look at the beach, everybody's got almost, I would say, an FBS or FCS town, at least one, if not multiple, across the board. And even you guys, you have the long losing streak that comes in this year, but Princess Anne's got a big-time name guy in Tony Grimes at defensive back, your first game of the year. How big is that first game? Some say you don't want to overemphasize one game because it doesn't make a season. You got 9 more to go. But how important is it to, whether you win the game or not, show well right off the bat?
Well, the biggest thing is the community is excited. The school is excited about, the new era, new change. Biggest thing is we just got to take it one day at a time. Right now we're preparing ourselves for the season. And when that time and that week comes, we're just going to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. Every game, look at it as a winnable game that they deserve to be out there and they can compete with anyone. That's the biggest thing, and the message that I'm trying to put forth with them. My live guys are working hard. They do believe and feel that, hey, they have a right to be there and they deserve a win, but they got to earn it. They got to fight for it. So it's going to be a big game, big opportunity. A lot of talk about that first game, winning that first game at home, but that's not the end of the season. We still got 10 games to go, and then hopefully an opportunity to reach playoffs to make it many more. So just take it one game at a time. That's all we can do, and do what we can do.
Lastly, Coach, and I appreciate you coming on the program this morning. I'm sure we'll be catching up here before the season gets underway. Anyone you've turned to, be it current coaches in the Beach, ex-coaches, people you played with or against, for advice as you go from, you've been an assistant, you've been part of the game plans and preparation over the years in the Beach District, but now you're in the lead chair. Anybody you've turned to for advice as you go into your first year and first games as a head coach?
Well, I've spoken to several coaches throughout the area. I mean, you have a lot of coaches that have a wealth of knowledge that always have ability to share with me. I even reached down to my old former high school coach, Johnny White, that's down there in Georgia, in Douglas County, coaching football, and talked to a lot of coaches that I coached with on previous staffs, and just, be able to reach out to them and just, just to give the knowledge that they had, as far as, I talked to Lansdowne coaches, Ocean Lakes coaches, and one thing about the Beach, we all support each other. And that's a fantastic thing. When I got the job, they reached out and said congratulations, and whatever they can do, they would be willing to help me. And they want to see, Kempsville have an opportunity to win. Unfortunately, not against them, but they are very supportive and giving me the support that I need. So hats off to the Beach coaches and everybody who's part of the Beach organization.
We're looking forward to what's in store for the Chiefs this year and beyond. Again, their season opener coming up on August the 29th at home against Princess Anne. Coach, wish you all the best, including here from a former Chief, and we'll be talking with you down the road, all right?
I appreciate it.
You bet.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Daryl Cherry, our guest here, the head football coach of the Kempsville Chiefs in Virginia Beach, with us on High School Sports Talk.